I have 13 siblings, 7 sisters and well the rest, the boys. Well, my mum and dad was hard workers. They were good parents, strict. I suppose out of the 13 I went left field when I got older and into my teenagers. I ended up being a bit like my dad. I loved alcohol, got involved in marijuana really young, learned how to be a drug dealer, learned how to grow it.
For me at that time, experienced teenagehood, it's all about finding who you are. And for me, my role model was my dad, my uncles. They grew dope, they smoked it, they were famous for it. And they made money. And that's exactly what I wanted to be like. Later on, I hit the meth. I was a full-blown addict by my 20s. I started off playing around with it. I liked the money side of it. And then I was hooked. Led me to do some horrific crimes. Finally got caught, ended up in jail.
My best friend at the time his name was methamphetamine. And I was on there for 6 years. Tipped my world upside down because I started losing my family as well as my friends. There was a lot of jealousy, there was a lot of hurt, there was a lot of anger, and it just got worse and worse and worse, and it exploded. Ended up taking it home and losing the plot. Ended up in jail, didn't know what to do, I was stuck. Like I fell in a big hole and couldn't get out. When I was in bed and I felt like there was someone on top of me and I couldn't move. But when I called out to the higher powers that they were there, and then I called out to Jesus Christ, it was uplifted. So I jumped up out of bed, and we have a button on the side for emergency, and I pushed the emergency button, and of course the officer says, "Oh, what's up, Willie?" And I says, I don't know how to explain to him that I just got held down by something I couldn't see, and so I just said I slipped and I hit the button, it's okay. And because when I called out to Jesus, I went, there has to be a God. His name is Jesus. So I prayed and I prayed and I prayed until early hours of the morning. I went back to bed.
The dad I knew before, he was the tough guy. That was my image of him. He was on. In order for me to communicate with my dad before jail, I had to be stoned. The transformation I seen and what he was going through was a clean dad. Wasn't on the gear, wasn't on the alcohol. An honest one, because he was honest about himself, because he went through something. It was puzzling. It was hard for me to sit with. I felt a little bit uncomfortable, and that's the emotion I felt. I felt uncomfortable because it was like I had to get to know this man again. I had to figure out who he was, and he became more my friend. He became more my homie.
My wife that came into the prison and asked if I was all right, and I just told her to go find you a better man and just leave me. And every week she come. I love her today, and that was my best friend, and I left out when I thought I had best friends before.
I never knew there was words to have to feelings, and I never knew there were sentences for you to express yourself. That there is the starting of healing. I didn't know what self-worth was. I didn't know that how to love yourself looked like this. I didn't know communication is a key part of you being a man, because the communication I knew was violence. I've come out a lot sharper.
For the last 9 years, there's no drugs, no alcohol. Where I am today, I help people that are in jail, and need to in a home and guide them and say this is the way to go.
They touch on things to help you understand, was that my trigger? My past trauma has something to do with my family. And when you get this sort of help, then that builds on your understanding of who you are. So I didn't realise that I bottled stuff up. Push it down and boom. But when you bottle stuff up, it creates these behaviours, and you can become resentful, you can become bitter, It can lead you to jealousy. You can also experience rejection at another level. And when I understood that, I was like, what vulnerability felt like for me at the time was peaceful, because I felt safe to share what I was experiencing. And one of the most beautiful things I learned was understanding what love language was. So there's 5 of them. First one is touch. Some people like to be loved through touch, hugs. Another one is words. People like to hear it. Another one is service. Another one is gifts. And the last one is quality time. My baby at the time, she was 4. And I figured out her one was touch. That was her top one. So to speed the process up for her to get out of bed, was I grabbed her out and I gave her a hug for like 3 to 4 minutes. And then she was up. Boom. Can you get ready, my girl? Boom. She was off. That was one of the most beautiful times I took out of prison and introduced them to my family. Was using love language to connect with them.
What keeps me going all the time is listening to what Jesus had to go through. And I got a role model like that to follow. Man, I used to worship sports and alcohol and drugs. But now what I do today, I get up in the morning and I pray. It just took all that thought away of harming myself. Took all that thought away of drugs, alcohol, it took hate away. It was just unbelievable.
I was introduced to the Cope Up of Grace Foundation in 2020, and I experienced Man Up for the first time. To around other brothers that have been through exactly the same stuff. You might feel alone on a certain topic, but if you're able to voice it, bro, and it lightens what you're feeling at the time.
Well, what I've got to say to people is there is a life after death. But if you believe in our Heavenly Father in heaven, Jesus Christ, there's a life after death. And that's what gives me hope. It's not me that rescued me, it was Jesus that rescued me. And it's free, and He's there all the time. And He will help.